Hello there. This is Three of Spades. I'm back with Call of Duty, Black Ops 3. The last part I kind of went off a tangent, but you know, it's just like comparing a lot of new games to these old ones, even in the same console generation. Because this wasn't like some PlayStation 3 that I'm comparing to a PlayStation 4 game. No, this is a PlayStation 4 game compared to a PlayStation 4 game in the case of like Black Ops 6 to 3 or 3 to 7 especially. And every single thing that this game had pointed out as like a fault with Black Ops 7, it knew a decade in advance. It knew. And instead of the developers having the common sense to fucking course correct, they doubled down on the same bullshit, probably because they were told by some dickweed in a suit to do it. And yeah, nothing learned. Nothing learned, nothing gained. They just kept on chugging. Ironically, they made games that looked fucking worse than this shit. I don't know how the fuck it is you manage to make games that stylistically fucking look nowhere close to a game like Black Ops 3. Yet they still have the same exact fucking art style. Verbatim. And seemingly it's just beyond them to comprehend how they can, like, do anything with the environment, do anything interesting with the world. They turned it all into just some generic fucking Fear 4 clone with Black Ops 7. It's like they wanted to. The people who were making it had their hearts in making a Fear game, but they accidentally signed up to Activision, not to WB, who, not to Monolith or nothing. No, no. They just signed up to the wrong company and they didn't actually want to be there. And it's like, if you don't have your fucking heart in this shit, just get the fuck out. I do not care about wasting my fucking time, so. Speaking of, let's get rolling.
So, I wanted to ask you. Kane thinks Taylor's behind the Black Station hit. Shouldn't their DNI show her exactly where they are?
Kane said they're off the grid. They must have found a way to disable their DNI tracking.
I'm not so sure. I think our LNO's keeping something back from us.
I think you're being paranoid. I read her file. She's been through some bad ops, heavy situations.
Guy.
Lived through it all. I think she's being straight with us.
I guess we'll see.
We will. The radio starts talking about the story again. But yeah, just
revelations, there is little doubt this information has been deeply damaging to our strategic operations, exposing many of our troops to attack from enemy forces. We are coordinating closely with our allies in order to provide tactical support where needed.
The scale of these intelligence leaks is utterly unprecedented. Hundreds of thousands of classified documents detailing Winslow Accord operations, not just in Singapore, but across the globe.
including this one.
It will take a long time and a lot of reading before we can accurately absorb the sheer volume of information presented to us.
Alright, I think the radio's done. But as I was saying in like the last part, it's just like, popularity does not always guarantee happiness. It doesn't. Numbers and a fucking high score, having the most followers, having the most fucking, I don't know, arbitrary fucking cool niche click fucking points that you'd have in your anime club or whatever the fuck else. That doesn't fucking mean you're gonna be happy. And often I find the problem with most of that shit is just underneath the cheap fucking animations, the garbage fucking choppy looking shit. And people would be critical of like a game like this having a low fucking frame rate. Then seemingly all of a sudden they'll just turn right the fuck back around and just weirdly glaze the fuck out of some, choppy Japanese-looking shit because it's from Japan. No, it's because it has big boobies and you can't keep it in your fucking pants. That's why. And often that's the problem with the motherfuckers on Steam. Half of the fucking games on that damn platform are just straight up disgusting. There's never any good new releases. Often the releases that do come out that are supposed to be some cool action game are full of some of the most generic, incredibly boring shit imaginable. Helldivers 2 is a great example. I've never felt so disconnected from a big release since, oddly enough, a game like the first Destiny, where I kept getting told that, like, this game was going to be so awesome, and I just never saw it. The first Destiny admittedly did have some interesting shit, but, like, by the time I had seen it, it's like nobody gave a fuck anymore. They're like, oh, you want to fuck with that old thing? Oh, fuck you, that's lame and old. Well, then seemingly all of a sudden they'll just pull some obscure, totally autistic, niche fucking reference to some anime thing out of their ass, and then act like that was the way that it was always supposed to be the entire time. I'm like, what the fuck? Double fucking standards we got here, clearly. It's like, how can we say that we're against this thing and then proceed to just fucking do this thing? Right? I mean, I can understand if we change our minds at some point, but there's never any form of real introspection these people tend to have who just do this shit. They don't care about how fucking loud or zany or disruptive they are. They just fucking do it. They just do it. They have no filter whatsoever. They say exactly what they're fucking thinking, and it's totally disgusting. Nobody needs to see or hear or think about all of this fucking information constantly. And that's the biggest thing with Steam. I want to purchase games on that platform, but just simply because all of the games that they keep releasing, even with the porn filter where it's like you could disable that shit, it doesn't fucking matter. It still leaks through regardless because Steam is ran by a bunch of fucking perverts who can't keep it in their fucking pants. They lack any form of basic fucking human decency. And it just goes to show how fucking hollow and cheap that whole facade really is. If you cannot even have the most basic common fucking courtesy of putting on fucking clothes, what the fuck kind of business are you running? A disgusting kind, that's what it is. I do not want to be barraged with ugly, gay-looking characters, literally, gay characters, who are two-dimensional, fake, and are supposed to get by on some sort of sex appeal, even though I think it's repulsive. And, to be told, oh, what you think that? Well, I find them really attractive. Okay, first of all, no one needed to fucking know that. Second of all, get the fuck out. Or you're gonna be banned for being a fucking creep. Nobody needs to know that shit. If I get banned from shit like Steam, I'd wear that like a badge of honor. Shows me that I actually fucking have a sense of common decency. Because most of the people who run the forums over there will often be like weirdly abusive. They'll abuse some sort of vague, ambiguous guidelines to just say and do a bunch of really, really regrettable shit that often gets them in trouble. I wouldn't go looking for fucking trouble with Steam. I don't want to. I just want to play a video game. The only thing I fucking want is to be able to fucking use the thing I played for. But thanks to just a mountain of terrible changes they've made over the years, I don't feel comfortable doing that. And as well as that, I don't like the culture, this fucking cult of people who will, like, defend Valve for doing all of the same shit they would condemn literally every other company for doing. Because they made this shitty-ass game called Half-Life that sucks. Meanwhile, a game like Left 4 Dead totally did everything they say Half-Life did so much fucking better. Left 4 Dead 2, it's a so much better game. Does all the shitty theater acting some actual justice, because instead of you being locked in a fucking room with what's basically a cutscene, it's,
The clear-out job on the station.
It's actually you
All signs
being
point to
able to
Taylor's
fucking
team
play
being
the game.
compromised.
We served alongside these people for 5
The
years.
game just fucking
We know 'em.
continues. It is
They wouldn't
actually
just flip.
dynamic. It doesn't
It's the
need
Immortals.
cutscenes.
Killing style
The
even
shit
says
just
so.
goes. It only has cutscenes when it
Immortals,
like fucking
either
starts and
They took the
ends.
station's data
That's
drives.
it.
Once we recover them, the
One
security feeds
cutscene
will
to
tell us
show
for
you
sure.
going into the place, one
Hendricks,
cutscene to show you
You've
going
got
out.
contacts here.
Whole thing
Can you
just
get
plays
us close
itself.
to the goes?
There's a dealer that works with them. Danny Lee. He's a shifty little bastard.
I mean, cutscenes
But
can
he's
be good,
working.
like in this case, right?
Use
Look at
your
these
charm
fucking
to
crazy
get
ass
us in.
cutscenes they got, all the
Once
trippy
we're close,
visuals. When
Kane
all
will
those
be able to
people
track
were
the
dead,
drives.
their souls were just fucking going into each other's bodies all in a circle. Like, that shit's really cool. They use the cutscenes in this game to often convey some sort of mental trauma that these people
54
have. They
Immortals
have
have
this
never
really
been
like
strong.
dark, shadowy atmosphere throughout.
Singapore
It's
Armed
just,
Forces, CIA,
it's great.
no one will touch us.
You still relying on enforcers like Jay Zhang?
There's also
Jay
some
Zhang.
football player back there,
Nobody's
the
seen him
ponytail.
in years.
At least I think he is.
Never mind about Jay fucking Sean. Why should I be interested in your shitty robots?
These are the finest robotics available.
They got like a
Code
bunch of
Black.
fucking Microsoft tablets. The whole things look like, you know, fucking Transformers skin pack
Don't
for
care
Windows
about
7.
black, Hendricks. Care about green. You might not know this, but Singapore dollar ain't what it used to be. Hey, bring my friends another round. Who would have thought, right? One downtown building explodes and everything falls into chaos and anarchy.
Come on, Danny. Look, how far we go back, huh? I know what happened here. The whole sordid history of the Q-Zone.
No.
Stupid fool! You shame us in front of our guests!
Come on, Danny, relax. Look, we're just here to make a deal. You know that the Winslow Accord, they have the finest combat tech available, right?
Winslow Accord? Winslow Accord don't mean shit inside the Q-Zone. Where were they when so many died? When the SAF abandoned us and built the damn wall?
See, it's scenes like this that are really
I need
nice.
more time to locate the data
See,
drives.
another thing that gets me is like often they'll just try to pretend like they can't
You know who
have
was there?
other dudes from
54
America in
Immortals.
here and them not be villains
They
for
built
some reason.
something
Like,
out
why
of
are all
chaos.
Americans
They took
often
this
just
park
portrayed in these new games
And
like
rerouted
bad
the
guys?
solar power from the super trees.
There was no problem
If
with
not
this
for the
sort of
Immortals,
shit
we
where they
wouldn't
had
even have
them
electricity
as the
in
main
this shithole.
characters still, but you could also just
They
choose
gave
who
us
you wanted to
hope.
be. You could be a man, you
There
could be a
was none.
woman,
Yeah.
you could be 5 or
With the
6
backing of
different
the
flavors
CDP,
of
this port's now
character.
at the heart of their covert arms smuggling.
And then you would be dealing with all these other characters as well alongside it because, yeah, that's just normally how this shit works. But then
I don't
everything's
know
like hyper
are.
exaggerated with the sci-fi designs.
But let me tell you something. When your old friends desert you, you have to make new ones.
When Steam deserts me, I gotta go make new friends with piracy. But hey, foreshadowing. You know, when they constantly spell out the story of this game, and then they show how, like, oh, well, when your old friends abandon you, you need to make new ones. And they mention how the Winslow Accord abandoned, you know, these people in the Singapore zone. And then it's like afterwards, well, what happens with Taylor and his squad here? Well, oh, gee, they abandoned the Winslow Accord and need to go make friends with the CDP. Oh, huh. You know, they did this shit all the time in Black Ops 2. They did this shit all the time in Black Ops 1. What I love so much about this fucking game is the elaborate world and set pieces. It's so batshit and over the top that it's actually
what your
kind of
robots can do,
cartoonish, but it is
Maybe we
in
can
all
work
of the
something
best
out.
ways.
That's all we ask.
They don't abandon the underlying, you know, the underlying realism. They have that sort of Tim Burton look where everything is dirty and crooked and bent, but that's alongside just normal people. So it's real nice. And then on top of that, they don't just have only China, and China is the best thing in the world. No, they have all of this other shit along with it, you know.
Now,
Go Min, go Shulan. This is unexpected. I did not know you would make an appearance.
And we did not know the Winslow Accord Special Forces would make one either.
Hold on, man. Whatever you think you heard wrong. I mean, we're not looking for trouble. We're
free agents.
Do not insult me with your lies. You and your kind have killed many of our people. This cannot be forgiven.
Do you think we do not know why you are here? You've been made, Hendrix. What's the call?
No.
Now!
Cool, intense action scenes like this. They fucking gunned down every son bitch here. The only ones who survived that situation were the sister and the football player who just fucking ran out the door.
Plan B?
Plan B.
Plan B.
Kane, initiate secondary protocol, Echo 2.
Cool ass action music that's picking up.
I thought you and
You
Danny
know.
Lee were friends.
Yeah,
Well,
so did I.
they were. Well, until he died
Robot
anyway.
squad activating assault mode.
But like detailed bars.
located
That's what I
those
was saying
data
about
drives,
thinking
Kane.
that you'd
We're
used
taking a lot of
AI.
heat
It's just
down
this
here.
looks like
Got
it
him.
uses
The
AI.
server room in Cloud
Looks like
Mountain.
he's halfway
Right at the
between
heart of their
Kim
operations.
Jong-un and
How much you want to
fucking
bet that's where
Jackie
Gozu
Chan.
Lan's heading?
Overwatch shows CDP allies ahead.
The underlying
Nile River
style of
Coalition are in
this
town.
is still,
You kidding
you
me?
know, realistic enough.
What are they on a vacation?
Most of the shit is dirty, but like it's still fantastical while keeping that cartoonish look. It's like it doesn't abandon realism, but it also doesn't just look so fucking realistic that it's fucking boring. It doesn't also look like it's dull. The colors are often vibrant and very bright, which kind of is like, you know, showing that the futuristic stuff underneath all the bright colors is not entirely the happiest. When you fucking shoot the guys, remember, blood goes flying almost like it's Mortal Kombat. And they use this to sort of ground that even underneath all of the fancy tech, you're still just doing horrible things to people who don't deserve it. Did this guy look like he was really a person who deserved what he was fucking getting? Does this place look like it's exactly in the best of shape to launch a fucking war on? Of course not. See, this game is poking at the whole American imperialism thing that Modern Warfare did as well, but it just looks goofy. It looks goofy, it has the same sort of, you know, Windows 7 look
Warlord, get to cover!
that so many other, you know, Windows 7 wallpapers and a lot of themes around the 2010s had had. The whole MLG thing in 2013 was really taking off, and a lot of the 2011 abstract Windows 8 art design, this was the culture of the time, so this releasing a couple years after the fact totally adds up, and it makes sense. It makes sense the way they would design the game the way they did, because when they were designing it, Black Ops 2 probably wasn't even out yet. They designed these games one after another in sequence, and as soon as the first game is done, they're already starting work on the second, so if a lot of the ideas carry over game to game, and they do this as well because it's just efficient game design that makes it easier to constantly release games. The thing that makes Call of Duty successful above all else is the same thing that Bungie took, but they took the wrong way. It's being fast. But being fast alone is not good. Well, I could just, you know, I could whip up some shitty game that barely fucking works, doesn't even have half the decent art assets it should, in like a fucking hour. It would be garbage, but it would be fast, right? You know, I could totally whip something up like that in Unreal Engine 4. I could whip up some broken ass Unity store asset flipping game. Doesn't even have textures. Doesn't even bother, but oh yeah, it would be fast.
We're not moving until that turret is down.
Fuck, robot. Fuck out the way here. Oh, that's certainly one way to take out the turret. Robots just shot the floor out. Nice detail. But now, you know, if I wanted to, I could, you know,
We're clear.
following Bungie's idea of how fast shit works, I could just, you know, quickly whip up together some fucking game that's like, you look at a box and that's it. That'd be really fast, but it wouldn't be a high quality game. It'd be fucking lazy as
Heads up.
shit.
Got 54
And that's
eye
basically what their games
reinforcements
are. You look at fucking shitty boxes that move and have a stone texture on them oftentimes. They make some fucking ambiguous story, which is to say they don't actually make a fucking story. Pretend it's any good when it never was. They get by so much on fucking art and, you know, world design that they had used off the backs of Bungie and never really fulfilled. Old Bungie, like Joe Staten and Marty O'Donnell, were working on this fucking game, and then basically got told to fuck off because they were, you know, eventually purchased by Microsoft anyway, so... Activision, or not purchased, they were partnered with Activision, who, you know, was already in talks with Microsoft at that point. Judging by the style of games like this, I mean, it just makes sense, right? Why even have all of this shit that's just straight up like frutiger aero? Why specifically that? Because it's them who's put this in the game, not me. This is a stock, unmodified copy of the game, other than just the offline functionality. Hell, it's even an older version of the game, so, like, doesn't even have mod support. How the hell would I get mod support on an old version of the game that doesn't even have the workshop? Exactly. As well as that, a lot of the audio in the later version of the Steam version was totally busted in a lot of cases, so important story details you can no longer properly hear the entirety of. Just little bugs like that that totally add up and fuck up an experience beyond repair. They might have fixed a lot of texture issues, but they certainly added a lot of new ones. And, you know, they might have, they might have optimized the order independent transparency or whatever the fuck it be. But, what good is that when you've ruined everything else around it visually? The density of the environments was significantly reduced because they couldn't optimize this shit for a 2 gigabyte VRAM card on PC, so it's like, okay, well, they cut down half the foliage in the hunted map. They destroyed a lot of the visual fidelity in the Combine map. If you're gonna fucking remove most of the foliage because you can't optimize your shit, it's the same thing as Far Cry 3. Except I have that version of the game that was much better looking before they downgraded it and then tried to just, you know, leave it at that. It would be years after the fact and they would do some slimy bullshit like fucking removing half the vegetation and removing a lot of the sun effects for the sake of, you know, quote-unquote optimization. But that's not fucking optimization, that's sterilization. That's destruction. That's contamination. You're contaminating the fucking game with a bunch of shitty, half-assed looking assets instead of just making the ones that were already there run better. You're removing the effects instead of just making them run better.
Get out of the way!
It's a brute force and really shitty way of doing things.
Tell us something we don't know.
I've located a backdoor entrance to Cloud Mountain. Sending to your HUD.
I mean, it's like I say with Windows, you would want to keep the feature that you've sold people intact while ensuring that the thing is functional. Right, if it was like, oh, well, we removed all this foliage for your security, that's a load of horse shit.
Your call. Both end at the Cloud Mountain entrance.
This is literally a game that's about the fucking COD cycle. This is a game about wanting rampant fucking destruction caused by corporations and governments alike. If there was any fucking game to buck that trend, it would have been this one, but nah. They fucking doubled down on it. They made it the biggest problem in the fucking game. Eat skeet, motherfucker. Oh, here's a nice one. Your mother.
Agents of the Winslow Accord have invaded our home and slain your father, my brother, Gonin. They must be punished for their crimes. Whoever brings me their heads will be rewarded.
Gojalan seems pretty pissed.
You shot her brother.
I should have shot her.
You missed. I didn't. Fuck. I should have missed. It's the Warlord.
robots should be able to get that door open.
I should also be able to jump over the door. Gotta destroy the
don't have
puppy.
the firepower to fight these things.
It's heavily armored, but it's not bulletproof. Your weapons will bring it down.
Robots are also really well animated in this game. It's just really, really nice lighting as well. This shit ran on fucking 2 gigabytes of VRAM, Xbox One, 2013
Spread out.
console. You know, it wouldn't have been too far off to have it run like fucking Windows 8 or something. The biggest thing that probably would have helped the Xbox One, I think reputationally, is if they had done 2 things: make Xbox Live free. Because fuck it, what do you have to lose at that point, right? And 2, make it so you can actually convert these fucking Xboxes into a computer. Because if that's what you want it to be in practice, judging by how fucking slow it is, why not just allow me to actually have that ecosystem where I could switch between operating system, and I could just convert this thing into a normal computer? You would solve the issue of game piracy as well, because, like, well, if you just have it be another operating system, I could just use it as a computer. Hell, I mean, if that's what you were removing most of the fun games to just do anyway, it just makes sense. It's the whole thing that Bill Gates thought that the Xbox would be. And that I actually don't mind. Like, it doesn't seem like a half-bad idea, because maybe stripping down the console
Biodome rooftop above Cloud Mountain.
so it has no form of agency or no control is not a particularly good idea. Like, it's, in both cases, there's still a fucking computer. So maybe there shouldn't be any of this weird glorification of just destroying property that you purchased, like there is. You know, the normalization of wanton property destruction by all these companies has led to something as simple as me attempting to buy a fucking sticker for a PlayStation 3 becoming an absolute nightmare because China and other people who speak all these foreign fucking languages oftentimes have fallen for the bullshit delusion that Black Ops 3 warned against, where you can do a half-assed job, fucking have all the money, all the glory, and all the fucking credit for something you didn't even fucking do right. That's the AAA guarantee. The AAA treatment. Where you get treated like fucking pawn scum, they get treated like fucking royalty. Because they got sick and tired of people calling their games shit, so instead you have to obey their made-up code word that they plant in big name YouTube channels. Then they quietly censor other words to try and, you know, make it so the truth doesn't become as obvious. It's with Xbox One, they said if you don't like it, don't buy it, and people did not. So that hurt sales too much because they were honest, right? They were honest. They said, fuck you, get lost. And people didn't like that because they wanted the delusion that they were still in charge. They wanted the delusion that they were still in control when they had lost that. When Microsoft was always the company who fucking owned, you know, the snake who owned the garden, basically. They wanted to give the delusion out that any of this was really fucking worthwhile when it simply wasn't. So, in order to trick you into thinking that so they could get your trust, well, as any con is, the definition behind the con man is the reason why they get away with the scam is because, well, they sounded confident. Confidence. You just confidently say a bunch of bullshit, get up on a stage, and pretend you know what you're doing. Well, Xbox doesn't even fucking do that. What confidence? They often look like they're super insecure. They often look like they're very vulnerable, like they don't care about what they're doing. And they don't. It's very obvious they don't. Yet, why the fuck, you know, why the fuck do they show up to, like, actually play all of this shit? Why do they make all of this shit if they don't have their heart in it? You know, it's like I say, you know, if you don't have your heart in it, just don't fucking bother. Life's too short to waste your time on this, you know, video game shit if you don't care about it, right? I mean, mean, the people who would be critical of video games in the 90s, all the sassy women who would oftentimes, you know, say, oh, you're a nerd if you play video games,
I'll draw their fire.
Your EMP grenade should
are the
disable
kinds of people who now fucking make them. The kinds of people who pretend to fucking play them, even though everybody and their dog knows they don't. They don't play shit. These people just want to get fucking money. You think these are the, you know, the people they fucking hire now especially are the kinds of people who fucking play video games? That's fucking funny. They hate video games. Why the fuck else are they constantly depressed? Why do they put in these angry women who are just like them, constantly telling you how to act, think, and fucking behave? Don't matter if it's a man or a woman fucking saying it, they're being a bitch. Both of the motherfuckers doing it.
We have to take her down.
Wasn't okay when a bunch of games used to do this kind of shit, but ultimately, the reasoning behind me playing this is because this game being bullshit ultimately predicted something and gave me an answer to a question I was looking for. Why is it they're constantly doing this? Control.
It's a biometric reader. Scan her hand.
It was never about money. It never was. Why do you think they do these unpopular things over and over and over and over and over again?
Secondary input?
You think this shit's about
Fuck is
fucking
that?
money?
Heads
That's
up.
fucking hilarious.
Reinforcements moving on your
Give a shit
position.
about money.
The two inputs got to be interchangeable between each.
That's why
sibling.
they'll take massive losses on this shit. The Mafia
Can't be
is
serious.
probably the biggest reason why they do this shit. To
We're
intimidate
out of
you.
time and options.
To intimidate and control you. That's how the Mafia works. That's how Mafia works, literally. They just hope that you'll be intimidated by the shit enough to fall for it. Meanwhile, they'll just hope you turn a blind eye to all the terrible shit they do behind the
Okay, Hendricks.
scenes.
Interface with the console.
Shit like this.
I need you to use your DNI as a conduit for the transfer.
Say what?
It's a little more
Trust me,
like
okay?
fucking
We
silly
need to perform
in the
an
way they portray
accelerated
it
upload
here.
and wipe of everything on those drives.
If you get rid of the
Just
brain
like we did when we
computers, you'll
wiped the
probably
Black
be a little
Station
more
data at the dock.
accurate.
Better not mess up my brain, Kane.
Brain
I won't,
computers and,
but you may not
well,
like what
I
you
mean,
see.
futuristic stuff.
Hendricks, you okay?
Not quite.
He's fine.
Breach on the second floor. Moving to engage.
Download at 20%.
Shit! They're blowing out the damn window.
We got the
Hostile
cyber
zip
powers
lining in from the
available.
VTOL.
So I've got infinite fucking ammo thanks to a fucking ammo crate that's right here, and the ability and the desire to spam a shitload of grenades. I'm gonna burn these motherfuckers harder than Vietnam. Napalm the shit out of them. May there be fire that rains death upon them.
Download at 40%.
More hostiles from the hallway. Covering.
Download at 60%. Hang on.
This is why the Fireflies are one of the most overpowered fucking things in the game. I mean, hell, most of this shit you don't even need line of sight to fucking kill them. Just look like I'm fucking looking at the fucking enemies I am killing. Absolutely not.
We gotta get the hell out of here.
Download at 80%. Almost there.
And the download does change its speed depending upon
Hostiles
how
breaching
many
the
bitches,
second floor
how
wall.
many bitches you kill.
Download complete. Exfil transport is inbound.
But that's the best part about the fucking acting in this game is it's some weird
Job done.
over the
Now
top
get the hell out
bullshit.
of there.
Absolutely
We'll review
at
that data when
times.
you get back to the safe house.
But it's the best kind. It's not the kind that'll just fucking put in some weird preachy thing and then like almost cartoonishly die like it's a Rick and Morty skit where they constantly fucking ramble on. No, they'll just go
He's hit!
Brace for
and the
impact.
acting is really good because it's convincing. I don't think the voice actor they got for fucking Hendricks and, well, Hendricks is alright, but the player is not particularly good. But that's, to me, that's fine.
Plan C?
Plan C. King, we lost our exfil.
He sounds not so much like a Hollywood actor as much as he sounds like just an average dude. And I get that that's sort of the intention they had.
Just get the hell out of
The
there.
player's name is literally Player, so he's a stand-in for you and me, right? And I suppose that the player was just mostly like an interpretation of what they thought the player was thinking.
Let's get the
more
hell
so
out of
than
here!
anything, but since the developers have more assumptions than the players would have knowledge, it doesn't, you know, quite add up in terms of cost-benefit analysis in that regard. One thing I think that's pretty cool about a lot of these locations is they are actually based on real-life places. These biodomes and, like, the whole fucking trees with the electric, you know, shit in them, that are based off of real places. A lot of the shit that they had was, like, futuristic aero versions of real-life places that were made from Google Maps images, I think, mostly, but... You know, as well as the old post-apocalyptic Mad Max game they got here.
Taking exterior.
I'm gonna
Hendricks,
take this
move
fucking
inside.
Overwatch shows 54 eyes ziplining to your position with Talons in support.
And it's nice to see the fucking...
Let's move!
Nice to see the fucking call-outs, too.
Shit. I was hoping she'd never wake up.
Well, a bullet in the head might have helped that, but eh.
Wraith overhead! Avoid its line of fire! Don't let that Wraith lock on!
Oh well.
Kane, we're trying to burn down our exfil route.
That
We
they
got
most
options?
certainly are.
Negative. That's your only shot to the docks. Hurry it up.
What? No plan D?
Now is not the time.
It's your only shot to the docks.
Kane,
If you
get
don't
us out
hurry,
of here.
you will get shot.
This place is an inferno.
Get to the elevators. Use your Z-tracks to access the sky deck.
Alright, up we go. See, we had this shit before Warzone. Fucking go up the darn thing with the elevator. Use that rope climber. And there's the Ferris wheel in the battleship.
Come on, go, go, go!
Superman. This is the only place with water, so we could actually land. But I do like the shading that happens under here. It's just the problem is the shit gets a bit laggy, so...
Stay with it. I'm getting
There's
you
a
out
lot of
here.
like kelp and other kelp, like fucking seaweed anyway. Bunch of destroyed shit underneath the water because this is still all polluted, right? Nope. The thermite is basically a fucking insta-kill.
Kane, we've reached the airboats.
I killed that last motherfucker with
Copy
an
that.
EMP.
Overwatch has immortals swarming your position. You guys get on the turrets, I'll drive.
Alright, so as expected, we're gonna finish this shit with a turret section. Now, the collectibles I meant to go over in
You
the
better
computer
drive
before I
fast,
started this
Kane.
shit. Totally meant to fucking do that, but I will do that at the end of this mission. But yeah, it's just the dialogue, the fucking culture has totally gone ass backwards from just, hey, let's enjoy a fun game, to now let's ramble about 500 unrelated political topics in the video game.
Go left!
Because apparently that matters instead of the shit working and being fun. And they've decided to sort of pitch these two as polar opposites, where if you don't enjoy being told 500 bullshit political things that you have no control of, you're racist and you have to die. And you also support Donald Trump.
On it.
As if
Hang
anyone
on.
gives a shit. No one fucking cares. What I care about is playing a fun action game. What I came to expect from these companies, and then, like, they'll try to, like, use nostalgia as some sort of weird, like, bait of some sort. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Hey,
You know, it's
you wanna
like,
drive these pieces of shit, Hendricks?
if you're gonna try and bait me in, can you at least do the fucking common courtesy of cleaning up your shit a little bit? Like, you're not fooling anybody when your game has 500 different forms of insane clown posse on the fucking cover. Or months after the fact. It's just always the same shit. If you have the gay flags and the clowns and all the usual in trappings of the games, it's like
You okay, Hendricks?
you're not gonna convince me that it's
Yeah.
something that it just fucking
Never
isn't.
better.
Hey, you think Kane's right? You think
Like
Taylor's team killed our people?
often calling that Call of Duty is just harmful. I think
Hendricks, what'd you say?
because they're putting all of these people
I saw bullshit.
who clearly
That's what I saw.
throughout a lot of their, dialect are very vulnerable people. A lot of people who have joined these causes and these groups because they don't feel like they belong anywhere else, and they're doing this mostly to just, socialize. Most of the people have had some form of very obvious mental health issue that they, have told me about. Most of my gay friends, or most of my lesbian friends, who discuss these things. And, they make that very apparent that the way that they have dealt with it is more healthy than telling people how they are allowed to think and feel and behave. And often the problem with AAA gaming is they equate these two as if they are the same when they are not. They bunch this thing in with something else that's totally unrelated. Corporate being abusive, opportunistic dickweeds is not the same as these people off in these fucking corners. But that's the way they present it, and that shit causes a lot of real fucking harm, which perpetuates this cycle of quote-unquote awareness. It's the same fucking cycle of fear and intimidation that the mafia uses. If you're unaware, they kind of just get by on hoping that you don't fucking say anything. Hoping that you don't notice, right? Little hard not to not notice, I would say. Because they've put a barrier. They've erected a giant fucking VTOL panel right in front of the shit. And said, fuck you if you don't like it. You're racist. And it's a copy pasta at this fucking point. Like, they will constantly say the same shit over and over. Or they'll say, the only thing that matters about this person is their fucking skin color, or they are this person. Oh, they have this person in here. Okay, does this person do anything? Abso-fucking-lutely not. They do nothing of importance. They add absolutely zero impact to the story. They've done nothing for Fortnite. Fortnite is a game made for children. Halo Infinite is a game made specifically and targeted for children. So let's put every form of sexual awareness in this video game made and marketed specifically for little kids. Microsoft, what the fuck are you doing? And then on top of that, they seemingly had no problem openly and very publicly saying how they wanted children to watch the Halo TV series, and that is a show that straight up had Master Chief raping a prisoner of war, his ass on display, him having sex. Microsoft, that is disgusting, and you need to figure out what the fuck you are doing before you get more of your fuckers thrown in jail for being on the Epstein Island. I understand that you might think it's okay to spread that shit elsewhere, but that's disgusting. Fucking gross. And I have clear reservations about, obviously, this should not be in games. I have my disagreements with this shit, if that helps. It's just gross. The way that they are portraying it and the way that they are using it is disgusting and disrespectful. And, to treat it as if you can only have the good with, the bad. You have to make it some sort of fucking shitty-ass culture war. Is just stupid. It's the things that they perpetuate ultimately. What is the culture? What's the thing that keeps coming back? And ultimately, it's never anything good. What's the things that keep coming back? A lack of content, lack of features, lack of polish, lack of optimization too, because these games really don't look like they're pushing the technical bar. They haven't been doing that since about like 2017. The last time I was, I think, really wowed by a game of all things was, I think, just visually, if a game, the last game I had to say that really impressed me visually was Mirror's Edge Catalyst. If not that, then probably EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2 in 2017. These were 2017 games. That's really when I think 2018 came along, Black Ops 4, Red Dead Redemption 2. Everybody looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You know, they didn't have any of this cool audio log shit where you
No idea whose voice that was, but it seemed to
you
be a
get
guided image therapy session,
interacting
a form
with the
of
fucking
psychotherapy.
world.
We couldn't lift any prints from the recorder. It was clean.
After a while, I mean, if they had audio logs, it was often just like people who were so fucking depressed and tired, they don't even want to fucking be there. You could see how fucking lazy this shit was. Atomic Heart is another game that just like the reaction to this otherwise mediocre piece of trash was just as absurd as it was with a game like Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's is a game series that simply got by not because it was any good, but because of how the fuck people reacted to it, and also just all the depraved shit they drew about it. Yeah, to this day, all that disgusting shit's still on YouTube. Really terrible how it keeps popping up here and there again. My recommended feed is an absolute fucking disgrace, and it shows all of the most weird shit when I just want to play Call of Duty. You know, it's oftentimes I find that when I just simply want to watch Call of Duty or do something that does not relate to shitty cartoons, it often goes back to it regardless. Like, the algorithm keeps trying to make it so it's like you have to and you just fucking don't. Unreal Engine 3 and a lot of like Xbox 360 games are the fucking shit. I love that stuff. And I love especially the way a lot of it looks. And a lot of it plays.
The magnets are a cute touch. The real thing uses an electromagnetic suspension.
The pseudoscience behind the train here too.
Off its track. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a 62-ton vehicle floating
62 fucking ton train.
Those
like,
are some strong magnets.
Yeah, no shit. Like crazy ass designs for trains too. It's kind of crazy just how they've designed this future and like how everything is like all frutiger aero, but also evil. And I love that. There's a touch of a glitch within the system. Now there would be no fucking glitch in the system. They would just have the way it looks be the only thing about it. There would be no substance. There would be no fucking soul behind this shit. They put Corvus in a fucking new Black Ops game. Guess what? He ain't gonna do shit. He's just gonna look important. Is he gonna be the main villain? Fuck no. It's gonna be some random Mexican woman named Lara. That's basically the same shit that happened with Black Ops 2. Oh, hey, we're gonna put Raul Menendez all over the fucking marketing. Is he the main bad guy? No, fuck you. It's some bitch named Karen. Same fucking Karen haircut. If not Karen haircut A with the bowl cut, and it's usually B with the fucking weird-ass trim in the front. The haircut of a woman who gets no dick and needs some badly. I get that you're on your period, lady, but you can do a lot better than this. Maybe if you stop hanging out in the gay crowds and go find you a motherfucker down at the bar, go have sex, you'll be happier, instead of projecting this insecurity into the fucking gay games you make. We need to be aware of all of these people, except for our gamers, who actually are the ones who pay us. Yet they still fucking buy these retarded-ass games anyway. Like, once you stop buying them, the kind of problem tends to go away. And then it becomes a lot more fun to, like, poke and prod at the people. You know, just, like, poke fun at the people who fucking still do it. But naturally, I don't poke fun at this shit, and also I don't bitch and complain about it without a reason. I see these problems. I see these people want a fun game. I'm gonna make one. It's as simple as that, you know? If they're gonna open a massive black hole in the fucking market where nobody's going into this gap to go and make some shit like Halo or Call of Duty with a shitload of content, works offline, it's this just simple action game. Halo is so fucking simple. Anyone could make it. I shit you not. Here's how you make Halo. You walk, you don't sprint. You walk, you shoot, you don't even aim down sight, you don't sprint, you crouch on occasion, maybe you get into a vehicle sometimes, but for the majority of the game, you walk, you shoot, and you find weapons on the ground, and you fight aliens. They can't comprehend that form of simplicity. There needs to be something else. And they do this like a crack addict. They feel they need to have something else. Makes them feel like they really know what they're doing. They feel like they're creative. They feel like they're innovative. They can just say whatever fucking word they like to feel like they can control you. It's always about control. If this shit was about money, well, you think Sony would have, maybe done a better job with Concord? You think this shit was about money? That's cute. Don't you think that they would have changed the way that Bungie operated? Instead of this unsustainable, fucking short-term, short-sighted bullshit that they allowed themselves to become? Of course not. They know that if you don't have to put any effort into what you're making, and a bunch of suckers will just buy it because they've been manipulated into buying it and conditioned into buying it by psychotherapists, yeah, they will fucking buy the shit. They've been hypnotized. They have been drawn in due to an addiction, a dependency on this thing that they've developed a weird parasocial relationship to because of a bunch of people who were smiling. A bunch of people who were not even there anymore. They left. A lot of them went back to Microsoft. A lot of them went to other companies entirely. A lot of them fucking just got out of gaming. Do you think Bungie is the same Bungie who fucking made Halo? Fuck no. These people are long gone, and they stopped giving a shit years ago. Like, fucking hell, 2 decades, like 15, 16 years ago is not a small amount of time. That's a long time to just deny what's in front of you. And it's a long time for me to really just give the benefit of the doubt. It's why I think around 2017 I'm just looking at this shit around me and I'm like, okay, this shit's not going to ever change. I need to do something about this fucking now. And I bust my ass learning game development. I bust my ass learning how to do this shit myself. Because nobody is going to save me. Nobody's going to make this dope-ass game I want. Nobody's going to fucking do this shit. They will always fuck it up. You can't count on anybody except for yourself, and that's the fucking problem. Nobody counts on themselves. They count on it being a fucking popularity contest. Popularity gets you fucking nothing in life. Might get you a few things for a while, if you're lucky, if you're really lucky. But it's never enough to satisfy. If I had fucking 0 subscribers, it would not change a damn thing. I would talk the same way as if I have 3 million. Simply put, because it's who I am. You don't get this kind of authenticity with so many big channels because they've sold out to sponsors, or the algorithm has suppressed them because they didn't. Or whatever the fuck else excuse they have. The truth of the matter is oftentimes these people will start out with video games, and then they'll start making some lame-ass political commentary. They use video games as a sort of trap, like a fucking bait. They never really had their heart in the games after a while. Once they got popular, they used the fucking politics to their advantage. A lot of people start to catch on to this fucking pattern, but usually it's like H3H3 or Pyrocynical, where they used to play a shitload of games. Huh, how coincidental that now they seem to only make videos about shitty politics that suck dick. Literally. How coincidental is it that they've become the very things that they used to poke fun of a decade ago, now that it's convenient for them to take over that market they once destroyed? These motherfuckers were the kinds of people to poke fun at big companies and corporations and degenerate scum who would say and do the exact same fucking things they would. They only did that because it was advantageous and helped their reputation. When the push came to shove, you saw who was really on top. It's interesting. The cookie crumbles. Which side do they think they're on? They think it's all about sides. We're all just people, for fuck's sake. We all want fun shit. Arbitrarily ranking and comparing and fucking it up, that's where it usually gets out of hand. People want control. Why else do they have this authoritative mafia mentality? That's exactly why. That is exactly why. It's not about money. It's about feeling superior. God complexes. Control, for fuck's sake. It's not that you'll be happy and own nothing. No, you can be happy and own shit. It's that you'll control nothing and waste your fucking time. Ultimately, I'm fucking playing a video game that's got some all kinds of weird fucking messaging. But it is interesting. It is interesting that Call of Duty Black Ops 3 back in 2015 was predicting every fucking thing that now, when attempting to use social media, when attempting to use most video games, we now face as huge fucking problems. Back in 2015, you logged off of this shit and thought it was terrible. Well, this shit did not ever log off of you. And speaking of logging off, I'm gonna do that right now. Thanks for watching.